Now turn to Section 1 of your booklet. Section 1. You are going to hear a conversation between Angela and Mr. Ray. Angela is applying to join the library. Listen to the conversation and complete the form below. First, you have some time to look at questions 1 to 5. You will see there is an example which has been done for you. On this occasion only, the conversation relating to this will be played first.
Hello, how can I join the library?
Well, you need to make an application. Would you like to do it now?
Yes, if I can.
One moment and I'll get the form. Now, I just need to ask you a few questions before you sign at the bottom.
Okay.
Your full name, please.
Angela Mary Price.
Price?
Yes, that's right.
Angela's surname is Price, so in the example, Price has been written down after surname. Now we shall begin. You should answer the questions as you listen, because you will never hear the recording a second time.
Hello, how can I join the library?
Well, you need to make an application. Would you like to do it now?
Yes, if I can.
One moment and I'll get the form. Now, I just need to ask you a few questions before you sign at the bottom.
Okay.
Your full name, please.
Angela Mary Price.
Price?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. And your address?
Apartment 3, 86 Bridge Street, Pimlico.
Bridge Street. That's just near here, isn't it?
Yes, not very far.
Good. So the postcode must be 2065, right?
Yes, that's right.
Now, your telephone number. I need both home and work if you have them.
My home number is 8763-5142, and work is 8456-1307. Do you need anything else, like ID or something?
Yes, your driver's license will do, if you have one.
Right. It's easy to remember. I know it by heart. 4040AC.
I'm afraid I'll also need to see it.
Okay, here it is.
Thanks. And your date of birth, please?
24 March 1981.
Okay, thanks. That's the most important part completed. But if you don't mind, I'd also like to ask you a few questions for a survey we're conducting.
Yes, that's okay.
Now you have some time to read questions 6 to 10. As the conversation continues, answer questions 6 to 10.
What kind of books do you like to read? Here's a list to look at.
Oh, it varies from time to time, but I always like to relax and learn about other countries I might visit one day. I don't like anything too heavy or serious, unless it's about animals or the environment. I'm not really into sport very much.
Anything else?
Well, I do like entertaining at home. You know, dinner parties. So I suppose you'll have something for me in that line. The pictures in those books always make me hungry, although they never seem to turn out exactly as they look in the books.
Fine. I think that's all I need now, except I need you to sign here on the application form. Oh, and I almost forgot. The membership fee is $20, which is refundable if you no longer stay a member.
There you are. Do I sign at the bottom here?
Yes, that's right. You can borrow books now if you wish, although your membership card won't be ready until next week. So if you want to borrow today, you can pick up your card when you return your first books. That's if you want to take some now.
I think I will, but I'll have a look around first.
Okay, take your time.
This is the end of Section 1. You now have half a minute to check your answers.
Section 2. You will hear a talk by a tour guide. First, you will have some time to look at questions 11 to 17. Now listen carefully and answer questions 11 to 17. Welcome to San Fernando City Tours. I'm Mark, your tour guide. We have a lot to see in 3 hours, so make sure you're comfortable. We'll be traveling into the historical district first, and then into the town center. After that, it's out to the harbor, and we'll finish up at the lighthouse, just past the harbor. That will take us up to midday, and after that, you're free to do what you want. At the lighthouse, you'll have a chance to visit the tea room and take photographs of the magnificent coastline. Now, as we have only 3 hours, we won't be able to take you around the shopping district, but we think you'd prefer to look around the shops there in your own time anyway. San Fernando has some well-known tourist attractions, the lighthouse, for example, and the National Library. However, the little-known military museum is not to be missed. Be sure to visit before you leave. Now, there's a lot to do in San Fernando. Indeed, there really is something for everyone. For those who love the water, I can recommend a trip on the Seafarer, one of the most famous boats on the San Fernando River. It does an evening trip with a 3-course meal included. It's great fun for everyone, but especially for young people in their teens or 20s. After 9, there's a disco on the boat, and it gets really lively. Then there's a climbing wall near the town center. It's incredibly popular, with a large wall for expert climbers and a smaller wall for novices. There's a junior wall and a creche, so it's a great day out for those of you with kids. And if you like walking, there's some great walking tours. The City Sights tour is highly recommended, as is the walking tour by the coast. But that one's only for the fit, not really suitable for children or the elderly. For more mature people, or those less able to get around, I would suggest a tour around the vineyards. It can be done in the luxury of a coach, and it's a wonderful way to explore the region's wines. Before you hear the rest of the talk, you have some time to look at questions 18 to 20.
Section 3. You will hear 2 students discussing the new term at their university. First, you have some time to look at questions 21 to 25. Now listen carefully and answer questions 21 to 25.
Hey John, I didn't know you were here at university yet. When did you get here?
Oh, just yesterday, Thursday. I've got some stuff to get sorted out for the start of my second year, as I've just got some new subjects. Today I've got to sort out my timetable. It seems like I've got quite a lot to do this year. When did you get here?
I've been here since Tuesday. What classes are you doing this year then?
Well, I'm continuing economics, of course, as that's my major, but I'm taking an extra maths class and I'm dropping Spanish so I can take up French. What about you?
My major's the same as yours, of course, but I'm going to continue the same classes as last year as I like them so much. They're history and music. What's your Monday timetable like?
Well, at 9, it looks like I've got French for 3 hours. That's going to be a tough start to the week.
Yeah, I can't imagine it worse. I've got history for 3 hours, which will kill me. The good thing for me is that I've got a free in the afternoon, which will relax me after that morning.
No such luck for me, though. I've got that extra maths class starting then, so I'll be hard at work all day on Mondays.
Yeah, I don't envy you that. Still, the extra maths will really help your economics in the long run.
I know, that's why I'm taking it this year. Last year I really struggled with all the maths that I didn't understand in the economics. But hopefully, this year, that will all change.
What about sport? What have you chosen to do on Wednesday sports afternoons? Are you sticking with rowing?
I'd love to, but the rowing club storeroom got broken into and the boats were damaged, so it's not possible till the club can get enough money to repair or replace the boats. They're really expensive, so that'll take quite a long time. So as I can't do that, I'm going to try out squash. What about you?
I'm going to do the same as last year. Volleyball.
That's good. It's in the main sports hall like the squash. I'll be able to see you a lot this year.
Yeah, it looks like that. You can help me with the maths that I don't understand.
Maybe, for a small fee, of course.
You now have some time to look at questions 26 to 30. Now listen to the rest of the discussion and answer questions 26 to 30.
I know it's early, but do you know anything about the first assignment that we have to do?
Yes, it's already up on the economics faculty notice board. There's a choice of essays up there. I think there are about 10 you can choose from. I can't remember any of the titles though, apart from the one that I think I'm going to write about.
What's that one then?
It's about the short-term future of third world economies.
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. It seems very wide-ranging.
It is, but remember that I spent some of the summer vacation travelling in Africa and Asia, so that has made me more interested in the subject, and I've also got some first-hand ideas on the subject.
Does the essay list mention how long the essays have to be and the deadlines?
Yes, you remember last year all the essays had to be 3,000 words in length. Well, that's gone up by 1,000 words.
Oh no, they'll take ages.
I know. I was hoping that they'd stay at 3,000 words, or only go up to 3,500. But no luck, I'm afraid.
What about the deadline?
The first one has to be in by the 30th of October, and the second one by the 30th of November. It looks like one essay a month like last year.
Well, at least that hasn't changed. But as it's the end of September now, that leaves only a month to get the first one done. I'm going to have to get onto that straight away.
Yes, you'd better. If you want to talk about it, I'm going to be at the campus cafeteria at 1:30 for lunch. We could go over some questions.
I can't then, as I'll be in the sports hall working out. How about 3 this afternoon at the economics common room?
That seems okay. We'll be right by the economics course office where the questions are, so that'll be convenient for checking up on them.
OK, see you then. Bye.
Bye.
That is the end of section 3. You'll now have half a minute to check your answers.
Track 39. Section 4. You will hear a lecture on time. First, you will have some time to look at questions 31 to 40. Now listen carefully and answer questions 31 to 40. The subject of this series of lectures is horology, the science of measuring time, and we'll be looking at a few basic concepts in this lecture. The measurement of time has come a long way since ancient times. It began with such devices as the sundial, where the position of the sun's shadow marked the hour. Daylight was divided into 12 temporary hours. These temporary hours were longer in the summer and shorter in the winter, simply because the amount of daylight changes with the seasons. The earliest sundial we know comes from Egypt. It was made of stone and is thought to date from 1500 BC. Sundials were used throughout the classical world and, with time, evolved into more elaborate devices that could take into account seasonal changes and geographical positioning and reflect the hours accurately, no matter what the time of year. This was quite an achievement in technology. Today, sundials can be seen as decorative pieces in many gardens. In the 11th century, the Chinese invented the first mechanical clocks. They were large and expensive, and certainly not intended for individuals. However, this is the type of clock we are familiar with today. There have been many developments in clocks and watches since then, and they have been greatly improved. But if your clock or watch makes a ticking sound, then it could well be based on the mechanical movements the Chinese developed 1,000 years ago. However, timekeeping has moved on from the mechanical clock. Time has become so important that there is a series of atomic clocks around the world which measure international atomic time. Even though many countries have their own calendars, globalization has made it essential that we measure time uniformly. That we know, for example, that when it's 6 a.m. in the United Kingdom, it's 2 p.m. in Beijing. This standard was set in 1958. Now these atomic clocks are situated in over 70 laboratories all over the world. There is so much to cover about the development of time measurement that I would like to refer you to the reading list. The core text is The Development of Time, Theory and Practice, but there are many other useful texts. A good grounding in the subject is given in Understanding Time by J.R. Beale. Although some sections lack detailed analyses, it does offer a good foundation. Also, Time, Concepts and Conventions is quite a useful read. You might think from the title that it's about the philosophy of time, but this isn't the case. Rather, it gives a good description of how different countries have different approaches to time in terms of calendars and days. Lastly, The Story of Time by David Harris analyses time in great detail, and I would recommend this book if you are aiming to specialize in horology. Now, we're going to continue with an in-depth look at lunar and solar cycles. That is the end of the listening test. You now have half a minute to check your answers.